Country can boast a number of great riders over a long period of time, but since the Second World War, the two outstanding jockeys have been George Moore and Roy Higgins. Well, about a week and a bit ago on Keith Hillier's 3UZ radio program, he interviewed George Moore, and at the end of the conversation, Keith indicated that George was about to write a book, and he asked George whether there would be any revelations that he might want to put into his book that we hadn't heard about over so many years. And this was George's answer to Keith Hillier.
Last question, George. If you do write a book, would you lift the lid on things in racing that have not been reported?
Well, I'd lift the lid on Roy Higgins being able to keep the not getting set out in the St Leger in 1971.
Would you?
Well, I'd like to see the head-on film of it, and I must say that not many people know the stewards asked me, Tony McSweeny wanted to protest, and I think if we had it, Roy might have had a long holiday, because he did grab my leg, even though I might have had him a bit tight. He did grab my leg.
Roy Higgins grabbed your leg?
Yes, and pushed me with about half a furlong to go.
What was the race and what was the year?
It was the 3rd of March, the 6th of March 1971 in the St Leger, which he won on Trader, and I rode Silver Sharp. I'd love to see the head-on. I was never shown the head-on.
Have you kept that quiet for 21 years?
Yes, because Roy was a friend of mine at that time, and if I'd have listened to Tony and objected, I finished up running 3rd, because when he pushed me, he broke down Silver Sharp.
Have you spoken about this? Because that's an amazing allegation, George.
Well, somebody grabbed my leg. There was only one bloke there. It must have been him.
Well, we might go into that.
Ask the VRC to produce the head-on shot.
George Moore, we might do that. Thank you for your time this morning. We're very pleased that you're very well.
Thank you, because why I'm saying this, Roy was quite nasty to me in his book, so I thought I'd even him up.
George Moore, thank you.
Quite nasty to George Moore in his book. Roy, welcome to the program, and Keith as well. I mean, for both of you, I mean, you were there, Keith. It must have been some sort of a shock when George revealed this on 3UZ.
It was indeed, Bruce. It came at the end of an interview when I was asking George about his health and about Mick Dittman's prospects in England. The interview, of course, was extended because that was an amazing allegation, a secret that he'd kept for 22 years.
Roy, it wasn't all that secretive when you think about it, because it did occur in the Stewards report. And by the way, we have the film. Keith has been able to find the film and the head-on, so if George is watching today, his wish is going to come true, because he's about to see it in a moment. Roy, I mean, it was in the Stewards report. It was a known fact at the time that this incident did occur.
Yes, there was a steward's inquiry into the incident straight after the race. Both Moore and myself were called into the room, and I was first asked by the then chief steward, the late Jim Ahern, what happened some 100-odd metres from the winning post, and I explained that my horse had shifted out a bit. Moore's horse, who was in front of me at the time, changed stride and came in onto my horse, and as I was trying to ride my mount out, we were very close, and I had my arm up here trying to hit the horse with a whip. Excuse me. And as our legs contacted together, George's foot was going forward, mine was coming back, and our stirrup irons got hooked together, with the result my foot came out of the iron, so naturally I've got a lot of weight on this side trying to hit my horse with a whip, and under difficult circumstances. When my foot came out, my body weight went sideways, and I've got my arm out here. My arm came down, landed on George's leg. I was actually on the way down to the ground, and when I hit George's leg, it's pushed me back up in the saddle. And
wasn't
so
like Mel Shoemaker who said Tommy Hill put his foot in his hand.
We should mention that.
A little bit different to that, and just in conclusion to that, then George Moore was asked his version of it, and he was a little bit non-committal at the time, and contrary to what George did say, Mr Ahern said, OK, let's have a look at the head-on film, which they had, and which is the one you have here, exactly the same film it is. George, after watching it, George was then asked to comment on the film, and his words were, well, he said it's really non-conclusive because the two horses were so close. He said, so we'll probably have to believe exactly what Higgins said. And the stewards then put it down to completely accidental, and we walked out of the room. We were only in there for 5 minutes.
Let's have a look at this. We've got a transcript of the stewards report. This has been preceded. It says, approaching the winning post, Trader, the horse that Roy rode, Silver Sharp, the horse that Moore rode, came together. Higgins added that just prior to the two horses coming together, he lost the use of his iron, became unbalanced, had to extend his right hand and use more for support to regain balance. Stewards decided the incident was entirely accidental. Mel Shoemaker's name has been mentioned this morning and Tommy Hill because about 10 years before this incident, in the AJC Derby, Shoemaker grabbed Hill's leg and was suspended for life, and that life sentence was reduced to 10 years. So it is very serious. Let's go and have a look at the St Ledger. Bill Collins' call, and then we're going to have a look at the head-on in normal speed and then in slow motion. Firstly, here's Bill's call of the 1971 St Ledger.
And as they turn for home, he's put the pressure right on Trader, followed by Chancy Boy and Dario. Inside the two, Moore sitting quietly. Higgins hard at work on Trader. He kicked about a neck in front. Silver Sharp now asked to go, is struggling to get to him, and they're clear of Dario, Chancy Boy. Trader in front, the maiden holding Silver Sharp at the furlong. Moore goes for the whip. Silver Sharp trying to get to Trader. He's drawn level. Here's Dario coming at the pair of them. It could be another boil over. Silver Sharp, Trader and Dario catching them. Trader got his head in front and he's won. Trader's won it ahead to Dario. Silver Sharp's run third, a half head away.
This film is courtesy of Race Play. Roy is on the inside. George is tackling him. The two horses come together. The incident's about to occur now. It just did occur. We'll have a look at it again in slow motion. Here we go. Now, Hicks, you're on the inside and the two horses come together.
Yes, you'll note here my horse just moves out one stride as Silver Sharp moves in.
Now, that's where you've touched.
Yes, my foot. Now, you'll see hanging down between the two horses, my leg swinging down. That's where it came out of the iron, and that's when I was saying that once... It's like, to explain it, would be like sort of riding your bike at full speed with pressure on it, and your pedal comes off. So naturally your leg goes down and your body weight goes to one side. And in doing so, George just happened to be there, and thank God he was, because I would have probably continued on down to the ground. But the reason it happened is because we did make contact and our two stirrup irons locked together and my foot just came out of the
Your arm went out and you actually hit more, didn't you?
Actually, I had my arm up with a whip and I'm trying to get an extra hit in. At this stage, I got all but back to level with Moore. He'd headed me and I all but got back to him. And
there the arm goes.
Yes, actually my arm was halfway up to try and get a hit in, one more hit that I thought I could get back.
Did
and
it cost more the race, do you think?
No, the reason he got just on half a neck in front of me at one point, and I believe his horse, who you can see there is very heavily bandaged. They'd had a lot of trouble with him through the week. And he was known to have very bad legs. And the horse,
that
to me,
body contact was quite prolonged, Roy. That went on for quite a few strides, didn't it? The arm out and the two jockeys touching.
If you can imagine, you're like this. Next minute, you're down there. I was over there, hit George's leg, and then pushed myself back up.
Still got it, Bruce, hasn't he?
I was going to say, he might get a ride in the Lightning Stakes on Sunday if he keeps going like this, but he'll have to go on a bit of a diet. Just very quickly, the reaction, Keith, to the interview from racegoers all around Australia.
Well, it was picked up by all radio stations around Australia, and the reaction was amazing. No one could understand why George Moore came out so long after the incident. Roy Higgins suggested that it might be because he is going to write a book.
Well, Roy, I think you've certainly cleared your position this morning,
it's
once and for all. And it's a serious allegation.
Serious
You were thinking of taking legal action, but you're not. Is that correct?
No, I will be taking legal action. It's far too serious. You know,
Okay.
If it's basically saying the stewards were incompetent on the day also, and I should have got 10 years, as Shoemaker did.
All right, then. We do thank Race Play for their input into that segment today, and Roy, you for coming in.
Thanks, Bruce. Keith,
don't go away. Max Presnell's going to join us after the break. We're going to talk racing.
Do not touch the glass.
Lee Freedman continued his great run of Group 1 successes with Durbridge yesterday in the Orr Stakes, the first time that the Orr has been a Group 1 event. Been some mighty winners over the years, Keith Hillier. We've had some great horses win this race. This bloke is very, very good.
He's a very good horse, and Damien Oliver said he wants to stick with Durbridge, even if he clashes with Naturalism. That would be a great clash within the stable. Yes, Bruce, 6 Group 1 win already this season for Lee. He won 13 last year. He's going to give that tally a nudge, maybe even pass it the way he's going and with the runners he's got.
Max Presnell's joined us as usual from the Sydney Morning Herald. Max, I guess you're not surprised at Durbridge's performances. You saw him as a 3-year-old when he was a very good horse.
Yes, he was a very good horse. I'm not surprised that he's come up under Lee Freedman. He was certainly a good horse too under his previous trainer, but Freedman's got the knack with Group 1 horses. He showed that he's bringing Durbridge along nicely, and I think there are more wins to come for this horse.
What about Star of the Realm? Because he was the other horse that was very heavily in the market yesterday.
I've always liked Star of the Realm, Bruce. That love affair is starting to wane a little. There's an excuse for him every start, and you don't make those for good horses. Star of the Realm was pouring at the barriers, and he missed the start, and he pulled 6 or 7 lengths off the leaders in the straight, but again he emerged with more excuses.
Supposed to have run his last 200 in under 11 seconds. You didn't see him at his best when he was up there for the Derby last year.
No, he reserves his best or his worst too for Melbourne. But what is it in this day of barrier stalls that we get horses left that far? We had an instance like that at Rosehill yesterday. I find it very difficult to understand that we've got stalls. I can understand horses coming out losing half a length, perhaps a length, but to come out right behind them, to lose all chance, that was, I thought, something of the past, something of the open barrier days, but obviously it's not. And that goes for both Sydney and Melbourne.
Well, what are you suggesting? I mean, what do you want? You're suggesting a replacement for starting stalls?
No, I can't suggest a replacement for starting stalls, but I don't find acceptable the fact that strong fancies can lose all chance from the stalls. Perhaps it's just an anomaly. You might be satisfied with it, Bruce. I certainly am not.
I think on that point, Max, that horses are left in the stalls sometimes for too long. That gets them fidgety. Our stalls are claustrophobic, not like the New Zealand cutback style. I think Max is right. In Japan they get away quickly, but they do have the luxury there of an attendant in every stall.
I mean, there has been an occasion where they've held horses in the stalls because they won't let the race go before the advertised starting time for betting around Australia. Let's have a look and see Durbridge's win yesterday in the Orr Stakes.
800 metres left to go. Minyama led 2.5 lengths to Parry. Half a length away, Q Gent, a length into Durbridge, 2 lengths to Jolly Almaca, 2 lengths to Corndale, a good long gap to Sub-Zero on the inside of Planet Driller and Star of the Realm, being hunted up as they come up towards the home turn. Minyama with a handy break, led 3 lengths ahead of Zapari, Q Gent, Durbridge, Jolly Almac, Corndale behind them, Planet Ruler followed by Sub-Zero and Star of the Realm as they straighten up 400 a runner. Minyama by 2 lengths to Q Gent, Zapari on the outside. Here comes Durbridge, and deeper on the track then is Jolly Almaca, and Corndale are starting to wind up as they come down with about 250 to go. Minyama has a handy break from Durbridge in second place. Jolly Almac and Corndale rattling home. Here's Durbridge coming at Minyama in the final stages. Durbridge hit the front. Durbridge will win it. Jolly Almac flying home too late. Durbridge won it. Durbridge by a half length to Jolly Almac with Corndale third, Minyama.
Australian Cup's his big one because they'll reserve naturalism. He may just go straight to Melbourne. I know Lee Freedman's having lunch today with the owners and they'll make a decision whether they run him in the Futurity or go straight on to Sydney.
The Australian Cup's going to be a fantastic race. We'll have Durbridge and Corndale in a nice race
and
yesterday.
And
Viander Cross. What a race.
It's going to be outstanding. And Star of the Realm, well, he was a slashing run, but as you say, we've had a lot of excuses. Maybe Jolly Old Mac went up a notch yesterday because that's a big test for him at weight for age.
It was a very good run yesterday, and the time was only 1/10 of a second outside the record, Bruce.
OK, well, let's look at the Autumn Stakes because this should be a good guide to the Australian Guineas and maybe, Max, to some of your big 3-year-old races like the Rosehill Guineas and Canterbury Guineas. The winner yesterday was Just One. Coming from last, the hot favourite was Palace Rain.
Rounding the home turn, they straighten up with 450 to go, and Palace Rain has ranged up on the outside to tackle Dr. Oates. Clocker pulled to the outside, making a run here. Seattle, Just One is finishing on, followed by Top Walker, a long gap to Guards Time. Here comes Just One, Palace Rain, the inside battling on. Just One, the outer. Just One has hit the front with 150 metres left to go from Palace Rain and Clocker, and Just One is drawing away in the final stages. He'll go on and win impressively, Just One. Just One goes to the line to score well. Getting up for second here, Seattle, ahead away third, Palace Rain.
Guards Time, Max, was heavily in the market. Is he in your second division or were you disappointed with his run?
No, he would be in my second division. Certainly Guards Time is a horse that's going to win races, not races like the Australian Guineas. Air Seattle, I think, can improve. I just wonder whether he's got the quality to be a really top-class 3-year-old.
Palace Rain?
Palace Rain, I think, may be at his best on rain-affected tracks. That race, as you mentioned, the Autumn Stakes, is a good guide, Bruce. Last year's Australian Guineas winner, Jolly Old Mac, was runner-up. In 89, King's High did the double. I liked Air Seattle's run yesterday, Max. I thought that was a fantastic performance, and Connection said 1,600 metres would be better suited.
Yes, certainly, all those points, Keith, I would take into consideration. Again, I just wonder about his class.
OK, let's have a look at some of the class from the 2-year-olds yesterday. We start, Lady Jackie O was 7-4 on in the first of the preludes for fillies. Upset result here, and David Hayes may have a very, very good 2-year-old here in Rose's Image.
Up towards the 600-metre mark they travel, and the leader, Eurogem, about a half length in advance of Torrance, just in behind the making ground very quickly now, Lady Jackie O. Rose's Image was second last, Hospitable last of all, and the leaders went wide going into the straighter, and Rose's Image has got a glorious run on the inside to lead here. Lady Jackie O is now starting to knuckle down to a task. She's coming home well. She's the danger, Lady Jackie O. She's out after Rose's Image as they come down to the 200, but Rose's Image is now holding. Lady Jackie O is not finding a great deal. In fact, she's kicked away. Rose's Image over 2 lengths to Lady Jackie O, who can't go on, and then Hospitable and Eurogem, but Rose's Image will absolutely bolt in. Very impressive. Rose's Image, aided by that lovely run on the turn, has won by 3 lengths to Lady Jackie O. 8 lengths away, third is Hospitable.
She ran the fastest time recorded by a 2-year-old at Sandown.
I think she's pretty good. John Sadler, who trained the odds-on favourite Lady Jackie O, described it as the most disappointing day of his career at the track. I think it's 6 months since he's used that term, but she really...
Since Jolly Old Mac didn't get the protest.
Exactly. So, Bruce, it's a nominal favourite for the Blue Diamond, gone down a few rungs at least. Lady
we missed Al-Anon during the week with shin soreness, so the 2 top fancies for the Blue Diamond might have gone in the space of 5 days for different reasons. See what you think of the Colt from the Hayes stable. He runs 1/10 of a second slower than Rose's Image. He went straight to the front and led practically all the way.
Racing down towards the 600-metre mark now, hard to pick a leader, Fighter Base and Rory near the inside, and a Lark were a line of 3. They're just in advance of the heavyweight, followed by Land Speed Record, is back over on the inside, running about 6th, and deeper on the track as Sportsworks as they round the turn with Matt Ricker, and Pride of Rancho is back behind them. A good long gap in the field there to Diamond Black, and they were followed by, further back in the field there, Pearl Prince as they come down with 250 to go, as St Rory takes the lead from the heavyweight. Over on the outside of Lark were Matrick finishing on, and Land Speed Record under the whip is not doing a great deal, but St Rory is holding the heavyweight with 100 metres left to go. In third place is Matrick, but St Rory will be too good, and St Rory drew away to score nicely. St Rory by a length and a half, the heavyweight. A Lark with third.
Max, Keith reckons if you jump to the front and you win the race, no doubt you'll lead practically all the way. He's been having a go at me while that race has been on. Tell me about your 2-year-olds yesterday. Court Sojourn's one of them, and the other one was Flitting. Are they up to slipper standard?
I doubt it. They are up to winning races, but certainly I don't regard them as the top bracket 2-year-olds. I wonder about your Melbourne 2-year-olds too, Bruce. Just taking a line through the heavyweight, who is good, but not outstanding in the times that they've run. I don't think there is anything outstanding there yesterday. Certainly there was nothing outstanding at Rose Hill yesterday, although they will all win races, but I'm tipping there are going to be a couple of outstanding 2-year-olds at Gosford on Thursday.
Tell me about Social Path. Is it any good? Did it trial on Friday?
Well, yes, trialled most impressively. Impressed Mick Dittman. Dittman feels that Social Path is better than Court Adjourned, on whom he won yesterday. Struggling win, would have to be. But there are a couple. I mentioned one, Jet Ball. Another one, Krosmopolski. Get your mouth around that, Keith. But remember it. And, of course, Goldbrose. And they're all likely to run at Gosford. It looks like it could even be a mini slipper. So I do think that the winner of that race, and, of course, Burst won it last year, could well be the Golden Slipper favourite.
We'll have that on the program. You've just booked that race in for next Sunday. Let's go to Rose Hill. Yesterday there's a big performance. Cavalier won the main event on the program, but the horse that runs third looks as if he could be a contender for the Doncaster.
To the 600 mark, and Dittman took Classic Magic to the lead over Gull Charade. 2 lengths away, My Marilyn, followed by All Archie. Off the track, Cavalier, and then Rosali, Manly Star, followed by Stolen River, Rancho Miss, and Brawago. Tacking on at the tail of the field is going to be pulled to the extreme outside by Johnston. In the straight, 300 out, the leader, Classic Magic, over Gull Charade. My Marilyn's under pressure, followed by Cavalier, and here comes Brawago. Brawago right down the extreme outside. Classic Magic in front over Cavalier. My Marilyn getting a rails run. Brawago's dying on his run. Classic Magic just in front. Cavalier's lunging. Cavalier doing best. He's an old marvel. Cavalier has won from Classic Magic. Brawago a mighty third.
Well, I've said very, very good too many times today already. Max, am I suffering from hyperbole by suggesting Doncaster with Brawago? Tell me if I am. I'm sure you will.
You can bet on that, Bruce. But no, I think Brawago is up to the Doncaster. I thought the run yesterday was good. not sensational. There are a couple of runs behind Bruego. Stolen River, still a restricted class horse, was about a length behind him. There was another one that the stewards inquired in that was 2 lengths behind Bruego that could have been much closer. They were average horses, but Bruego was resuming after a spell. He will get better. He has got ability, but don't be rushing in to take a short price at the Anniversary Cup. That's his next start at Rosehill in a fortnight, and of course that's the 50th anniversary, and I'm wearing the STC tie designed to commemorate the occasion for the younger man, Keith. That's why you haven't got yours yet.
Thanks a lot, Max.
On that point, we're going to leave Max, Keith. We'll bring him back next week. Good punting during the week, and I hope your radio show goes well again.
We've got a fantastic weekend of racing coming up too next week. Betterloosen up in Far at Flemington on the Saturday. Scalacci on the Sunday, St Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's the date to remember. We take a break swimming after this.